Hey, what's going on, guys? John Shea here, and today I'm actually going to be doing a review of a survey platform called Survey Sparrow. Now, there's many survey platforms out there, and this is one that the company had reached out to me and wanted me to really take a second look at, and I thought I would give you guys really a fair review today. I'm going to go through the actual Survey Sparrow page, talk about pricing, and then we'll go through and kind of run through some of the settings, talk about, what can you actually do with this platform, and is it worth investing in to go out there and actually utilize for surveys. So before we dive into today's video, be sure to throw me a thumbs up on the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you like these reviews, feel free to throw me any ideas for future reviews that you want to see of different products, whether or not it's in the internet marketing space or maybe even a physical product. I've really been enjoying doing reviews of various products. So let's jump into today's video. All right, so I'm actually on the homepage of Survey Sparrow, and their sort of statement is refining customer experiences the better way. An omni-channel experience management platform, do more than just surveys. And you can sign up for free. They do have a 14-day free trial. Doesn't require a credit card. So if you guys do decide to try this, I'm going to actually leave a link below in the description. Of course, if you do end up staying with this after the trial, I will earn a little bit of a credit, so I appreciate that. But let's kind of go through this, right? They claim that they're trusted by over 20,000 customers around the globe. They've got some really big brand names here. Kind of goes over some of the different things that they can do in terms of creating forms, surveys, offline kiosks. They talk about Net Promoter. I have no idea what that is. 360 assessments, automations, getting insights, as well as being enterprise ready in terms of like security, white label, languages, all that. Reach more users, get more answers. They talk about all the different ways that you can share this. So whether or not that's through email, QR codes, links, embeds, through phone, SMS, social, or even through offline. Obviously, they've got some email integrations, and then they kind of talk about some of their different pieces here: customer experience, employee, as well as product experience, and then they talk a little bit about their security. So again, all very important things. They've got some nice testimonials here on the homepage. Let's see what else. And again, you can book a demo with them, talk more about this, but let's actually dive in. We'll go through this and we'll, really kind of walk through it, show you guys what's possible. But before I actually do that, I do want to highlight the pricing, right? I'm going to assume for most of you getting started, you're probably going to be looking at this free plan, and they do have a free 100% free plan where you can get up to 100 responses per month, do up to 10 questions per survey, and you can get most of the basic functionality. But then if you upgrade into the basic plan, you get up to 1,000 responses and limited questions, and then you start to get some of the advanced features like logic, scoring. They've got other things like phone number validation. You can integrate it with like Slack, all these other things, exporting integrations with some other tools like Facebook, Google Analytics, custom reports, so on and so forth. So really just depends on what features you want. I've looked at competitors like Typeform, and I really do like the ability to use things like logic, having like thank you pages, just having really nicely designed surveys. And I think that's something that it can be worth paying for if you really need it. I've also used platforms like Wufoo Forms. Currently, I've been playing around with a WordPress plugin, but one of the big limitations of that is I'm finding that in many cases, a lot of people may not have a WordPress site. And if they're looking for a standalone solution, maybe someone has like a site on Squarespace, but they need a survey solution, something like this is probably going to be a better fit. And ultimately, it's going to give a nice user experience. It's going to look really good. So I've already logged in here in another tab, and I'll kind of walk through some of the settings here. So on the left, we've basically got different workspaces that you can create. So basically a sort of a hub where I would store all of my different surveys. You can add team members. So if you want people to collaborate with you, again, that's something that's going to be limited based on the plan that you're on. If you're on the free plan, you probably don't get teams. And then here you could see I've only created one test survey, just sort of playing around with it, but I can see how many questions I have, responses, and the completion rates. I didn't end up sending out any real live tests, but again, a lot of this stuff is going to be pretty obvious. So if we go in, I'll do an edit. And in fact, you know what? I'll do one from scratch. So we'll do a brand new survey. And you can see from the start, they do give you some templates to work with. So you get the classic survey. You have a chat survey, which actually looks really slick, and they show you an example of this, which looks really nice. NPS, which I guess is for measuring customer loyalty to help grow your business. You can do an offline survey, which could be used for like a kiosk. And then you have a 360-degree survey, So I guess this is to get like feedback from employees and things like that. Now, some of these are things that you do have to get as part of an upgrade. I believe they set me up with one of the basic or premium plans, and I actually don't get the NPS survey included in that. So beyond that, I can at very minimum, we'll just go with the classic, and I'm going to browse some of the templates. You can see we have a customer satisfaction, employee, market research, and then we have a few business ones, shopping, restaurant, guests, retail store, customer exit, employee satisfaction. You get all sorts of different tons and tons of these actually that are already like ready to go. So we'll go with prospecting lead survey. This sounds interesting. So now that I've picked this, they give you some basic stuff here. I've choose the template, and I should be able to just edit this. So it wants a title. I'm just going to leave the defaults. And now it's already got all these pre-populated questions. So I can actually go through, and at this point, you've got all these options on the left side. So basically what I can do at this point is you've got sort of like this welcome getting started page. And you do have a few different options here. You can do emojis, variables. I can change like any of the fonts. This is basically an element it looks like was uploaded, maybe just an image, which I could delete as part of the template. And then there's a little sub text section here. But if we actually want to add something new, I'll maybe add something new just to give you an idea of what are the options here, right? So we've got different opinion scales, multiple choice, ratings, text, email, a typical contact form, phone number. You can break things up with sections, picture choices. You can do yes or no's, numbers, messages. You can upload an image. You can do a matrix, which is kind of interesting. Different measurements, things like that for scales. I see that all the time with like Amazon type surveys. You could rank things in a specific order, dates. You have drop-down fields. You can do like sums where people drag a slider there, and you can also accept payments, which is huge. That's really nice to have in here. You can have a consent as well as a website that they maybe would enter, as well as your thank you page. So a lot of different options. I mean, there's not really much else here that I could think of that I could possibly need if I was going to be building a survey for something. In a lot of cases, the surveys that I've done, most of the time, I'm usually just looking for basic fields, yes or no's, maybe a multiple choice section, a text input section, and of course they have all that, being able to capture an email address. All those things I'd say are fairly basic, and I do also like to have things split up, and this kind of does that automatically. So it's already based on specific sections where, you know, if I'm looking for a text input, it's going to say, hey, here's the information I need. You hit next, and then basically it continues going from there. Now, the other cool thing you can do with this is if you go with one of the advanced plans, you can actually go and they've got like logic. So you could have, if someone say answers this specific question, maybe we have like a yes or no or a multiple choice answer. You could actually have logic that says, hey, if they answered this particular question, then let's skip them to do a different question, right? So if someone says, may I know how often you travel, right? And as an example, they might say, well, they travel more than 4 times. So based on them answering that, we could then ask them a different question because of the fact that they said they travel more than 4 times a year. So we could say, well, where are some of the places that you travel, right? And we could lead into that more with these logic-based solution, you know, kind of jump arounds, as you would call it, or logic, skip logic. So I think it's a really cool feature that they have that. And I like that this is like really polished. So if I actually preview this, I'm not going to spend too much time, but we'll go through just like a demo. So this is very similar to, I feel like, how Typeform does it. And this is one of my favorite ways, is the fonts are nice. You've got your background. I'm just going to put in some junk just so we skip through it. And I like how it breaks the questions up, so you're not just loaded with all of these questions at once. It's very fast. You do have their branding down here at the bottom. They also have a keyboard shortcut, little kind of informational, so you can see you've got different buttons, like if I want to hit tab to move between areas, hit enter, focus between specific numbers, things like that. They give you all the commands of what you could be doing with your keyboard. And then they show you a percentage of how far along you are at the bottom left as you complete this, which is nice for people to see because they realize how quickly they're completing a survey if it's something that's quite long. The other thing I want to take a look at before we spend too much time here, and I think you guys get the gist of this, is what are the other options you can do in terms of design, right? So this is really the building portion of it. If we go to the left here, we have all of our design options. So I could add a header. You got your progress bar, which you could see I was showing at the bottom left. You could see the question number. So all of this can be customized, the fonts, the background, the buttons. This one has like a specific theme. We'll do continue. So I could apply like different themes to this. So this has got like, it looks like a rock band in the background. This one's got like a house. So you have a bunch of these default themes that you could add right into this, which is really nice. You don't have to spend time like trying to figure out where can I find a really nice background for this. Like here's one of people working in an office. You also can do like advanced stuff. So you've got like brightness, video. They're working on other functionality if you wanted to add like one of those videos that's constantly looping in the background. So some really cool stuff you can do there from the design side of things. You've also got some variable options. It looks like here you can add custom variables to pass information. So this could be really good. Let's just say I already had someone on my email list and I said, hey, I'd like you to fill out the survey, and I didn't want to have to ask them again for that email address. I could potentially pass a custom variable right into the survey based on their contact record that is already in my email system. So I don't have to waste my customer's time and ask them for information that I already have. Whereas this could be pulling that information automatically for me on my behalf. So that's kind of nice to have that. Of course, you have different languages, not pretty straightforward there. General configuration, you can change your URL. And then you've also got lots of extra options here for like tracking IPs, submissions. You can allow people to like edit and resubmit responses. You could do like survey randomization. There's all kinds of extra stuff here. You can password protect them. And then you've also got your notifications, of course. So, you know, what is it the user is going to see after they've completed it? So we could send them a notification that says, you know, to an example email, hey, you just received a new response. Like, this is what I'm going to get. And we could also do a thank you email that goes to them, which will be customized. And again, I can change any of this. So if I don't want to have like their logo or branding, I could take out all of their branding in here, basically make this an email that would be something that looks like it came from me. So really cool features there. The other thing that you can do is once you've gone and set this all up right now, you've got your integrations. So this has a ton of integrations. You can set this up with like Facebook pixels. So if maybe you were running ads to a survey, you could put your Facebook pixel on there and use that for retargeting purposes, for getting lead data for your ads, anything like that. If you want to integrate it with Slack and many, many other platforms, of course, they have some base integration with like MailChimp, Google Sheets, Aweber. So not a ton of options for like third-party systems, but honestly, I don't think it's that big a deal. You do have some webhook as well as API options if you wanted to utilize their API. They do have that. Then for sharing, this is really cool, and something I was a little concerned about was when I signed up, I used the URL of just John Shea, right? So I was talking with a potential person I was going to partner with, and you know, he has this whole other brand. We weren't going to like show my name in any way, right? So if we had someone go into a survey that showed this in the URL, that might not be very ideal. Now, the way around that would be to essentially create an embedded version of this form. So they actually give you a customization here where it gives you a preview of what this is going to look like. So I could actually take the same survey, and they're not going to ever see the URL of, you know, my account on Survey Sparrow. They're just going to see the survey embedded into a web page where they could then fill it out. They've also got a WordPress shortcode. So if you want to integrate it right into your WordPress site, you can do that. And of course, you can change the width as well as the height. So you can do a lot with this. Gives you ideas of like, you know, making these changes. You could name the embedded share. You can also embed it through email, social. You could create a direct URL, of course, sending as an email, SMS, and a QR code. And then they've got some new features as well, where it integrates with a mobile SDK, Slack, as well as Teams. You can also see any of the shares that you've created. It will actually track this and give you responses. So maybe if I was using one on like an embedded form and then another one I sent an email, I could see which ones are actually getting me the responses based on how I shared it. So I think that's really cool. I really like how they did that and kind of split it out. And that way you could, you know, have your survey in different places or be sending it to different people, different places. Like maybe you're putting one in a Facebook group, one to your email list, and then you've got another one embedded on a website somewhere, and you could track, you know, which of those is performing the best. So beyond that, obviously you've got your results, which I have not surveyed anybody, but once you've got this all set up, you will get data about what's going on, and then you can export this data and get more basis on this. So I think for the pricing and compared to the competition, I mean, you're really off to a good start being able to start with the free plan. And of course, if you go up to even just the basic plan, this is probably going to be more than enough. And with all the advanced features, integrations, scoring, display logic, all that stuff, Really, really good opportunity. If you end up going up to like the premium plan, you just get even more functionality in terms of like how many responses, shares. You can do some of the skip logic, which normally you wouldn't be able to do on just the basic plan. So this might be a reason to move forward. And then of course, like file uploads, you can do redirects to other URLs, lots of different extra options that you may end up needing, accepting payments, things like that, that you may not get with basic and free plans. So anyway, if you guys decide to pick up Survey Sparrow, I'm going to leave a link below. Again, they do have a free trial, and I think this is definitely a worthwhile tool if you're looking for something to run surveys to your audience compared to some of the competition out there. All right, thanks for watching, and keep a lookout for future reviews and other videos that I'm going to be here releasing over 2021.